Hey YouTube, Common Collector here, and today I'm bringing you guys a very exciting update to my Dream Mirror deck profile. We did recently just get new support here in Battles of Chaos, and this is now like one of the best support cards for this deck, so this is a perfect time to update the deck. It got a lot more strong with this new Neroy, the Dream Mirror Trader, which just came out, and is a common, so it's really nice and easy to access. So this is going to be a budget build for the deck. There are a whole bunch of other avenues you can take with this deck. We are playing the artifact package in here, but we are not playing DPE. So it is still relatively cheap. If you guys can't afford Dagda, you could still just play like 1 or 2 copies of Scythe and just try to draw it, or you could just leave out the Scythe entirely and just play pure Dream Mirrors. Pure Dream Mirror is still really nice. I just like the Dagda because sometimes you end up with having the Neroy on your field, and then if you can just take one other monster, then you can just turn them into Dagda, and then you are able to lock your opponent out for the next turn, because the Neroy doesn't really do anything during your opponent's turn, so you just basically take this useless card on your field and then one of your other cards and turn that into a Dagda. So I really like that package. It's pretty simple and small. I did take out the Chaos package that was in here before, but if you guys like it, just the 3 Chaos Space, the White and Dark Dragon, and then 1 or 2 of the Chaos Daedalus works really nicely. So those are like the 2 avenues you can go with this deck, and you can add in DPE, but I didn't want to because that does add another brick to the deck. So anyways, let's get on here into the deck profile. For those of you guys who are new to the channel, please consider subscribing if you guys haven't already, and let's get on into it. So 3 copies of the new Neroy, the Dream Mirror Trader. This card is super duper nice because when this card is normal or special summoned, you're able to add one of the other, the Neroy, the light one, from your deck to your hand. And then once per turn, you're able to basically tribute a monster on the field, and then you're able to add another Dream Mirror to your hand, and then also you go with the corresponding field spell that goes along with it. So basically with this card, if you add like the Dream Mirror Sprite to your hand, which this card also calls for having the Dark Field spell, you're able to add this and the Dark Field spell to your hand and then special summon this card. Then when this card gets special summoned, you're able to add a Dream Mirror card from your deck to your hand, and then you can activate the Dark card, and then you go into the Dream Mirror Mara. So it's just really nice. This card just really helps make sure that your deck is consistent, and it helps to extend it into some extra combos. Your Neroy is also able to special summon itself from the hand, which is really cool. I really like that ability. This does really help you to go into like that the Dagda Scythe combo. And we're gonna use the Scythe combo as long as Dagda and Scythe are still in the game. I'm assuming one of them is going to get banned on the next ban list, but until then, we're going to run it because this deck is a little bit underpowered and can sometimes brick, so we do need to do a few unfair things to our opponent in order to make sure that we can still survive. But then also when this card gets special summoned or normal summoned onto the field, or sorry, when it does get special summoned by the effect of a Dream Mirror monster, if you have the Joy field spell on your field, you're able to bounce one of your opponent's spell or traps to the hand. And then also if the Dark field spell is on the field, then you're able to draw a card, which is kind of cool. It doesn't come up very often, but if you do have the your trap card, the Hypnagogia, goes off and you're able to get both field spells on the field, you are able to get both of those off. It's really nice. We're going to then go on into 3 copies of the the Dream Mirror Mara, which is really nice because this card lets you special summon a card from your hand. Then, like I already explained, the Sprite lets you add a card to your hand. So basically the combo goes, you get out the Sprite, add something to your hand, get out the Mara, and then you special summon that card back to the field, or you just add a spell card or a trap that you really need at the moment. Then we're going to go into 3 of the Dog or the Friend. Friend is really good because with him you're able to special summon a monster back from the graveyard, which is really cool. Really also helps with the Neroy because either one of these, if you have this in the graveyard and you're on your second turn, you can use this, bring this card back, and now you can go full combo again. Or you can just bring back this, the Disciple, and then this is going to let you maybe bounce one of your opponent's cards back to the hand and draw a card. So that's just really cool. Then going on into his counterpart, we have the Dream Mirror Foe. This card is okay. You're really just playing 2 copies of this to make sure that you can go into the Friend, because with this card you can attack your opponent directly. Sometimes that can matter, especially in time if you're trying to play in, and this deck does have another card that helps you to win in time a little bit, which is the Dark Field spell, because it burns your opponent for 300 damage every time they special summon. Then we're going to get into 2 of the Morpheus, the black, and then 2 of the light. This is a change from my previous build where I was only playing 2 and then 1, but I did want to add in a second copy of this because with doing the Scythe Lock, you can do that with the Morpheus, because when this card gets special summoned, you're able to destroy one card on the field. So what you can do is during your opponent's turn, let's say that you have out Mara. You can use Mara to go into the Sprite, have Sprite add your Morpheus, either of the Morpheuses, and then you can then swap this out to go back into Mara. Mara will special summon the Morpheus from hand, and then you can pop that spell or trap. So it is really, really nice. You just want to have this this extra Morpheus just for extra ways you can try to get into this combo. Then we have our 1 copy of Artifact Scythe just to try to lock our opponent out of their extra and sort of slow them down while we try to get our full advantage going. Then we have our 3 copies of the Dream Mirror Terror, which is super duper nice. It helps you to burn your opponent, which is kind of cool. And then we have our 3 copies of the Joy. Joy adds you protection. And then also with the Morpheus, another good reason why I wanted to add in an extra copy of this is because if you can get Joy and the Morpheus out on the field at the same time, with Morpheus, when this card gets special summoned, you can activate the effect so that this card can't be destroyed by battle or by card effects this turn. And then Dream Mirror Joy makes it so that your opponent can only target your cards with card effects with the highest level, as well as for attacks. So if you just put this in defense, your opponent can't attack it, and this card can't be destroyed. And then also, or your opponent has to only attack this, and then they can't destroy it by card effects or by battle. So it's just really, really nice. So for that reason, you got to be playing 3 copies of these cards, because these are the sort of the heart and soul of the deck. Then we're going to go on into 3 copies of our Fusion spell. This card is super great because if you have the Terror out on the field, you're able to use your monsters from the graveyard, and then if you have Joy on the field, you're able to use them from the hand. So it is also a quick play Fusion spell. So that means that we can fusion summon during our opponent's turn, which is super duper cool. 3 copies of the Phantasms. Because we have the Neroi, I was considering dropping this down to 2 copies because we don't need that monster search as much anymore. But this card is super nice because it does stack. So if you end up drawing one of these on your first turn, or 2 of them even, you can only activate 1 per turn, but still, if you activate a second one your next turn, you can just get another monster to your hand, and then all of your Dream Mirror monsters would then theoretically be gaining 1,000 attack. And then if you have both field spells out, your opponents will lose 1,000 attack. So this card can really, really stack, really cool, which I think is nice. Then we have 1 copy of Terraforming and 1 copy of Call by the Grave to make sure that our combos go through, and Terraforming just in case there's a certain field spell that you really need that you're not seeing. Then also for the field spells, we're playing the 3 copies of the Hypnagogia, the best trap in the deck, because this card lets you activate both of the field spells to the field, and then you give one of them to your opponent. I usually end up giving the Joy to my opponent, and then I keep the Terror, because if you have Terror on your field, then you're able to burn your opponent for 300 damage every time they special summon a monster. Then we're going on into 1 copy of the Fantasy, 1 copy of Recap. The reason why I dropped this down to 1 is because I am now playing 2 copies of every single of the Dream Mirrors. And so with this card, this helps you to shuffle your cards back into the deck instead of tributing them and sending to the graveyard. But, you know, so it helps you to recycle a little bit, but now we don't need that as much because we are playing 2 copies of each. And then 1 copy of the Counter Trap card for a tight 40 card deck. Before, with the Chaos package, I was playing this at 43. So now I actually do like playing this at just a solid 40 when I took out that Chaos package. But again, I still really like it. So if you guys do like playing the Chaos and you have the Chaos base, if you guys can afford that, definitely go for it. It is super duper fun. I just couldn't find the room to fit that into the deck. Then we're going to get on into our fusions. We have 2 copies of the Dream Mirror Urkling, and then 2 copies of the Dream Mirror Tormentor. So these cards are super cool. You only really need 2 copies of each. If you want, you could play 3, but the extra deck, I just wanted to have extra options. So the probability that you're going to be getting off 3 of the fusion spells is not likely, and even if you do end up getting it, you maybe only end up needing to go into like 3. So but basically with these cards, the dark guy can actually tag on into the light guy, so that's why you maybe would want to play 6. But yeah, so you basically want to go for this guy first. Then when the effect of a Dream Mirror monster on the field is activated, or of a monster while you have Terror on the field, you can negate that opponent's monster's effect, which is kind of cool. And then if Dream Mirror Joy is on the field, you can quick effect, you tribute this card, and then it goes on into the Urkling. And then with Urkling on the field, if your opponent's monster, or if another monster you control is tributed, you can target one card on the field and destroy it. So this is kind of like your Morpheus, which you are using to destroy a card on the field to activate Scythe. Sorry, I'm fumbling a little bit. But yeah, basically these are your 2 routes to go into your Scythe combo, because this card can also destroy one card on the field during your opponent's turn, which is really, really cool. So these cards, super important for the deck. You want to play at least 2 copies of them. Then our 1 copy of Artifact Dagda. Again, if you guys can't afford this, you guys can play just pure Dream Mirrors, and it is going to be totally fine. The deck is really solid now. 1 copy of Link Karibo and 1 copy of Anima. I will always play these probably in any deck that plays level 1s, just because I think that they are so good. 1 copy of Cross Sheep. It's really nice because you can fusion summon during your turn, and then if you do like the whole Tormentor into Urkling combo, then you can also get off that effect where if you fusion summon, you can special summon a level 4 or lower monster from your graveyard, which is super duper cool. We have 1 copy of IP Masquerena, and then a little Nightmare package for Phoenix and Unicorn, 1 copy of Appaloosa, 1 copy of Boral Sword, and then 2 XZ monsters. I'm playing 1 copy of the Bamboozling Gossip Shadow and 1 copy of Tornado Dragon. This is your 3rd route to be able to Scythe combo during your opponent's turn, because basically you can just use, and again, we're playing 2 copies of each of them, so you can play, you can use your Phantasos to bring back your other Phantasos, the foe and the friend and the foe. And so you can use this, bring this back, take these to go into your Tornado Dragon, and then during your opponent's turn, you Tornado Dragon and pop your Scythe. So okay, so now we're going to get into a very basic combo for how we want to Scythe lock our opponent. So all we're going to require is we definitely need the Neroy, and then really one of any of these other 4 cards. And you can also sort of swap this around, like because the Dream Mirror Phantasms can search for your Neroy. So if you open up Phantasms and Phantos, then that's totally fine. You can still just use this, search this, and now you basically have everything. So basically any of these two of these 5 cards is going to get you there. So we're going to start off with the this and the Hypnagogia right away. That is just going to be sort of our simplest combo line right there. So with this, we're going to start off with our Phantasms and search for our Neroy. We'll then normal summon the Neroy from our hand. We're just going to keep the Hypnagogia right over here in our hand. Then on summon, with this card, we're able to search for our other Neroy, the Disciple. We'll special summon the Disciple to the field, and then activate the effect of the Trader to tribute the Disciple here. And then we are able to add from our deck to our hand 1 of the Dream Mirror cards. We're going to add the Sprite, and then whatever the opposing field spell is. So we're getting the light attribute, so we get the dark field spell. Then we are able to special summon the Sprite directly from our hand right after we add it from the resolution of the Trader's effect. Then when this is added from our special summoned, we are able to add 1 Dream Mirror card from our deck to our hand. So this is where you're either adding the Hypnagogia or the Friend or the Morpheus to our hand, or actually maybe not even Morpheus. Maybe we just want 1 of these 2 cards. I think that that's kind of the way we want. So 1 of these 2 cards should be in your, or both of these cards should be at your hand at this point. So this is what we want. Now we also have the field spell in our hand. So we are now going to activate the Terror, which allows us to take our Sprite and tag it out for the dark attribute. So we will go for our Dream Mirror Mara. Now when Mara is summoned, we're able to special summon another Dream Mirror from our hand. So we'll go for our Friend there. And then when Friend is summoned, we're able to get 1 of our Dream Mirror monsters from the graveyard and special summon it. So we will go with our Sprite right here. If our opponent had a spell or trap on the field, we could go for Disciple if we did have the Joy field spell, but we don't. So we're just going to go like this. Then when we get to this point, then all we want to do is find a way to get into our Scythe combo for this turn. So we are going to take our our Sprite, and our Trader. So it really didn't matter what we brought back from the graveyard. We'll just take those two to go into our Dagda. Then on our opponent's turn, we are going to be using the Dagda effect for the Scythe, so we will get to that in a minute. Then we'll set our Hypnagogia to the field, and then we pass turn to our opponent. It doesn't look like much, but during our opponent's turn, we get to do quite a bit more. So our opponent goes for their turn, and then if we don't know if they're, if we do know that their deck doesn't really have a field spell or anything, we can just go ahead and activate the Hypnagogia right away, which is going to allow us to get our Joy field spell over to our opponent's side of the field. Sorry, I'll move the field spell here. And then we would basically, I guess we would get rid of this for our next copy of Terror from the deck. So now we get the benefits of both Joy and Terror. So now at this point, then we can take the Mara and we will send that away in order to special summon another copy of the Sprite to our field. And now that we did that, we can use the Dagda's effect to set the Scythe to our field. Now when this hits the field, we are able to add the Morpheus from our deck to our hand, which is really cool. Then we are able to activate the other effective Sprite to tag that out to go into our next copy of Mara. Then Mara can special summon a monster from our hand, so we will special summon the Morpheus. Then Morpheus can pop one card on the field, and we pop the Scythe, allowing Scythe to summon itself back to the field and then lock our opponent out of the extra deck for the turn. And now we still have a lot of stuff that we can do. We can then take the Morpheus, and then we will send that for the Morpheus, the White Knight, and then activate its effect so that he cannot be destroyed by battle or by card effects for this turn. And then we should get protection from the Joy, allowing our monster with the highest level to be the only one that can be attacked or targeted by card effects. So now our opponent won't be able to destroy this by battle. They can only attack this one, and then also it has just high defense in general, and then they won't be able to destroy this by card effect, and they can only target this card, which is really, really cool. Then another thing we can do is, let's say that our opponent ends up actually using a spell or trap card to the field, like they use their own field spell, which we don't like, or they use like a continuous spell card like let's say Fire Formation Tenki, which can only be activated once per turn, and it needs to stay on the field to resolve. We can use our Friend to go into a Foe, and then use Foe to go into another copy of Friend. Friend then on summon is going to allow us to special summon a Dream Mirror Disciple from our graveyard. And then with Disciple, if special summoned by the effect of a Dream Mirror monster, activate this effect to, if we have Joy on the field, we can bounce a spell or trap back to the opponent's hand, which is really cool. This is just another great way to interact also with like an Evil Eye deck where they're really, really focused on having out the Evil Eye of Selene. And then also when this resolves, we are able to, if we have Terror on the field, which we do because thanks to Hypnagogia, we are able to draw one card off the top of our deck, and we draw into our counter trap card there, which is actually kind of cool. So now right here we have a whole bunch of protection from these two cards going on. If you want, you could totally swap this stuff around too to have Joy here on your side of the field, but I still just like doing it this way. And then your opponent is locked out of the extra deck, so they're probably not going to be getting around the Morpheus at all anyways. But guys, that is the basic combos and stuff. That is also going to do it for the deck profile. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know down in the comments what you guys thought about this one. This one was a really fun one to experiment with again. So let me know what you guys think. Also, again, don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. I would really, really appreciate it. So that is my Dream Mirror Scythe lock deck, I guess you could say. So thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll catch you guys next time. Peace.